Now the question is, are we done counting out LMS? I think we are. AHQ won a game yesterday against EDG. Heartbreaking loss for EDG. They were definitely ahead, you know. They were ahead, and then the game was stalled out for a very long time. Twitch caught back up, and iBoy was a sad boy, you know. And AHQ won a game, sure, good for confidence. Mountain had some good engages. They had some good things going on. Maybe I should take away the screen and open up the game. It was quite a messy game, so I don't feel like it gives us too much insight about AHQ. I think Flash Wolves today as well played quite well against TSM, and it was a very competitive match, and it could have ended either way. And LMS was really counted out as a region coming into the World Championship, so I am excited about this one. Cloud9 had a tough game against SK Telecom. They had a very good start for the game, and then there was a double kill in mid, and SKT didn't look back. They played the Ezreal that game too, and I am not too impressed by Ezreal, if I'm going to be honest. AHQ have been given Jarvan and Lulu, which has been, for a lot of teams, except World Elite, the go-to support when you get to support, like pick support first here. Most teams pick support first here, and they pick Lulu over Janna. I think they're pretty even in how much they impact the game. I think in some cases Janna is better. I think in the case where enemy team has Jarvan, Janna is definitely slightly better when you have to Xayah. Kog'Maw Lulu, I think, is a fine lane matchup against Janna and Xayah. Janna and Xayah should have push priority all the time, and then maybe Kog'Maw Lulu can look for some decent trades. Ezreal jungle, the last time Cloud9 played, they also ran into the Jarvan jungle, and the response was the Ezreal. Let's see how it pans out. I don't think necessarily they ran into Jarvan jungle, if I remember correctly. I think. I'm trying to remember what happened. I think they ran into Jarvan jungle, yeah. And Ezreal was also picked in that scenario. So I think with Ezreal, sure, he's fine early game. He can create something with his first double buffs. But if he doesn't, I feel like he kind of falls short of what he wants to create. And it can be rough for him. And definitely, Ezreal, it belongs in the meta somehow, you know. It can avoid some of the engages that other junglers throw in. But the biggest issue with Ezreal is that he doesn't farm that well. Like, he can kill single camps very well, like the Grom and the buffs, of course. But he can't kill Raptors, and that is usually where the farm is at. And he can't really kill Golems that well, and that matters a lot. And that's why I feel like Ezreal as a pick is kind of iffy. He is very strong when he has items, but his items are very expensive. Like, they are very premium. Trinity Force is a premium item, and it costs a lot, and it takes a long time before junglers reach that point. So that is the first initial part of the draft. C9 decided to ban Malzahar and Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix was a pick that we've seen from Longzhu, picked into Ezreal when Immortals picked it for the first time against Longzhu, and it seemed to do very fine into it. I think that is the reason behind it, because it's one of the better junglers into it in case Jarvan goes top lane, which of course is a possibility. Malzahar as a ban, Wester has played some Malzahar in the past. It might be one of the better picks into Rise, because itemizing QSS on Rise is kind of iffy and meh. So it's a fine ban. But Cassiopeia is also a fine pick into Rise. And either way, it's going to be a fine matchup both ways for mid. I think slightly favored for Cassiopeia. And then Maokai to top it off as a tank. I'm assuming C9 will just pick Cho'Gath here. But to be honest, I would rather see them pick Nautilus, because they're severely lacking engage. And they don't want to put themselves in a situation where they will just get kited. Well, to be honest, Cho'Gath is banned, so they kind of had to. But even if Cho'Gath was open here, I think they would have to pick Nautilus, because otherwise they would be in the Fnatic situation where they would just get kited and kited and kited. And getting kited against Cassiopeia and Kog'Maw and Lulu is not a good time. You know, you're not going to reach anything. You're not going to do anything useful. So I like how Nautilus kind of rounds off this composition gives them some engage, gives them some tools to actually get in there and start a fight if it's necessary. Looking at the lane matchups, top lane is what top lane is. Maybe Ezreal can impact it early on with a double buff gank. Bottom is going to be something like a situation where C9 will be pushing in all the time. Maybe Ezreal can walk down there and start to kind of harass and siege the enemy bot lane. That could be a play. Mid lane, I feel like mid lane is going to be very, very explosive. We have the cleanse on Cassiopeia, but we have two low range carries that can be ganked very easily. So I think mid lane is where the most of the action is going to happen in this game. And then depending on how we can transition it from mid lane into bot lane is going to be like very important too. I think if anything, Smoothie should try to move and roam around mid as much as possible to impact the mid situation, to make sure that Jensen can maintain push, and then they can keep the push in bottom as well at the same time. Kog'Maw and Lulu should spike at around level 5. Xayah and Janna should be able to base on BF Sword and not be too unhappy. So let's see. We're going to speed this up a bit. Game 5. Let the action commence. We've got AHQ Esports in the blue trunks and the left-hand side corner of the map. Alright. Some casual invades now. Impact's going in. He didn't even place a ward. The ward is getting... Oh, he did place a ward. I lied. I lied. Don't trust everything you hear on the internet. We continue onward. We see barrier on both ADs and heal on both supports. Nothing too fancy. Sina getting spotted by this ward. They're trying to do something sneaky beaky, but nothing's gonna happen. Maybe they could rise near someone and create a first blood. They have a lot of damage, right, with Ezreal. Let's see if they can get a cheese off here. It seems like they're gonna get it off because, to be honest, like AHQ can't really face check them here, and Jarvan is on the other side of the map. So very good start here for Contracts. He can pretty much go to zone red buff and secure it if he walks there straight. Seems like he's going to do it. Jarvan was not ready for this at all. So good start from C9. Let's see what the response could be. I want to take a step back and think about what the response could be. But the main thing here is that the bot lane of AHQ are just giving up the tri-bush control because Rise was coming as well. There were 4 people. So they had to, right? They had to. And Jarvan and Mauka were just at the wrong side of the map. And even in a case where C9... Let's say C9... let's say AHQ were 4 people here, then they would have probably lost the fight anyway. So the play here for Jarvan is to go for his own red buff, for the enemy red buff. He needs to do it sneakily. Like Impact is in good position to punish as well. Like if anything, I just don't see the counterplay to this if they are so much weaker level 1, because that's what I feel about AHQ. They are a lot weaker level 1, and the play for them is hard to do here. And if Contracts runs straight to his red buff, then AHQ are just not gonna get it. Yeah, it's just not a possibility. On top of that, like C9 did place a ward on the enemy blue buff, so they saw where Jarvan was the entire time. Impact is being a good team player and walking towards the tri-bush, and Contracts spotted the red buff and saw that it was untouched and called Impact to just walk up top again. I think Impact is such a great team player. I think this meta is definitely for him, and I think the North American top laners at this tournament have definitely been super impressive so far. I think NA top laners, the NA top laners they sent this year are fantastic. Flame, Impact, and Haunt. What a lineup. The beauty of this for Ezreal, the fact that he could invade and go for this is a lethal gank. Holy. Storm Raiders gets popped. Main reason is why C9 bot lane is getting pushed in is because AHQ started to push while C9's bot lane was helping out at red buff. which means they lost priority, but it's all gained back now because Ezreal spent some time bottom and burned some potions. So it's all good, it's all good. Double relic shield. The beauty of this Ezreal invade is that he gets to kill the camps he likes to kill. He got to kill red buff twice, which is something that he kills very fast, and he gets to kill all these premium camps and doesn't need to spend time killing the raptors or the golems to get level 4. Ward is putting out the Ezreal. Alright. Jarvan does in fact get his level 4, but he had to kill the golems to do that, and he's just going for the base here. Main importance here is that the ward placement here of AHQ is very, very strong, and they are keeping track of contracts at all costs here, and it means so much because Ezreal really wants to get ahead here. Jensen is doing a great job in mid lane, staying ahead, but Westdoor in this tournament, the one game we saw from him, I thought he was very unimpressive. He died 1v1 to Scout, and I am not too big a fan of the current state of Westdoor. Jensen is doing great in mid, it seems. Contracts late base from bot side makes so AHQ can pick up these raptors. The main thing is if contracts went straight to his raptors instead of his golems, he might have been on time to contest this, but Mountain, knowing he based first and spotting contracts on the bottom side, knew that contracts is going to base, and he knew he had some time to work with to go straight to his raptors, so he stole some of them, left some of them, and Ezreal's gonna clear this up right here. Jarvan is a bit ahead on tempo because he based first, of course. Contract's second wave of camps is going to spawn a bit later. That's one thing that is going to be awkward about this. It's important now that AHQ, you know, their buffs spawn at the same time, which is a bit crazy. Like red buff and blue buff spawn at the same time, and if C9 coordinate, they can make sure to at least pick up one for sure. Where AHQ, maybe they commit to take the red buff, and then C9 might be ready on the other hand of the map, or the side of the map, and that can be a bit rough coming into the second clear of buffs, like they're going to spawn at the same time, as I mentioned. Contract is placing some good wards, but Mountain is just farming it out, farming away. This is what he wants to do, and Contract is going to slowly fall behind. He has his second wave of camps spawning now, the Gromp and the Wolves. Crazy thing here is that the red buff spawns right, it was cleared very, very fast, and at the same time blue buff is up top. I think Impact is just going to walk there and try to ward it. Maybe he's just eating some fruits for the mana. I think he did that, yeah, you could see he got healed up a bit. He didn't go for the ward. Maybe they're just giving this up. Mountain didn't even spot the fact that the red buff was being taken. Jensen was in position, and Contract is just walking away from this. Not quite sure what the plan is here. Not sure if the cleanse was necessary. Considering he has a lot of potions, he would have lost some health. Mountain got back here in time, so this might be a bit awkward here. Contracts could have taken the red buff with the help of Rise without the gank in mid. Is it worth it to expand the cleanse for that? Oh, flash from Contracts, I mean Smite, and the EUA. Oh, the TPM from Nautilus, no flash from Casio. Boom. C9 on fire. It worked out fine, right? They managed to get the cleanse, and it led up to a kill, and they got the red buff as well. It might have been a bit more dangerous, and to be honest, they didn't know either that Mountain based before, so this play was fine to do. He had ward on the red buff, and he would have known if Jarvan started it, and it worked out just fine. For sure. Ziv TP'd back to lane. He didn't TP or doesn't have TP ready to create something for his own team as a counterplay. Bot lane seems to be in favor of C9 as well, because they have the Zion Janna. Eventually they will base on BF unless they've already done that. Now we might run into the situation where if Impact keeps playing the same way he always plays, where he is very gank heavy, then it might be a problem now for Westdoor, lacking summoners here in mid lane. Ezreal decided to clear his bot side camps after the invade. I think he gave away the blue buff to Rise, if I remember correctly. We just ran into a replay, so I'm not too sure if it's the case. Yeah, Rise has a blue buff right now, and Ezreal just lost his red buff and Raptor camps because he did this in this order. They had full vision on bottom side, right? So he could have just done it the other way around, where he does his red buff and Raptor and then base and then go to his blue side. And then he potentially could have secured both, because if he has vision on bottom side and he spots Jarvan, then he's most likely not going to just take away his own blue buff. But at this time, you know, keep in mind that Nautilus TP'd and Maokai pushed in top, so they had priority in top side. So after they took the red buff, I think he could have just walked to his own red buff, secured it, base, go to his bottom side and play with the fact that his bottom is pushing, his bottom lane is pushing, and the Jarvan shouldn't be able to invade his blue. But because Impact TP'd, Maokai was pushing top, and eventually Mountain could just invade the top side for free. So both mid and bottom was pushed in. That means that AHQ is going to be quite out of position for this this fight here. Westor has no flash, but a nice Cassiopeia ultimate. Keeps everyone in place. Whoa! Sending a banana over here. Toots. It was, you know, you're running into a Rise. You know, Rise can also shit on the people in front of him, the same way Cassiopeia likes to do it. They're very similar in that regard. And of course C9 were outnumbering AHQ heavily, and committing to this fight was very, very brave. You know, it started off well, right? It started off good. AHQ got all their spells off, but let's be honest now, they are plain and simple, they are outnumbered, they are getting out damaged. If this was a case where AHQ's bot lane had priority, it would have been a lot better, but AHQ's bot lane was pushed in, and so was Western Mountain, which means when you push in, it means you have priority in river, right? When you get pushed in, you don't have priority in river. Let's say you push the wave like this and like this. It means you can take this path. You can take this path and you can group up here. If the enemy team is pushed in and they want to contest, they have to take this path. And they have to take this path. And the enemy team that pushed in, the team that pushed in first is going to be grouped here already, and you're going to be scattered. And the way you group up is to go through here. And that takes a long time, right? You group up and you're going to end up on an awkward side, and it takes a lot of time. That's why priority is so important. It gets you... It's priority in the sense that, well, let's say you're driving in traffic, right? And, you know, you're driving in traffic, and you're basically only one car can get through on the stoplight. So let's say there's a stoplight here, and there's only enough room for one car to go by, and then it's red because the car is blocking the way here. Why am I painting this? I feel like I need to sneeze. Okay, bless you if you sneeze as well during this video. My point was that priority, you have priority here, you have priority here. Just ignore the painting I just did. It means that one team can walk here and group right in front of the dragon. The other team can't take the safe path. They need to take a long path around to group up and to contest this. I don't want to buy this McAfee. And that is the case, right? In this case, C9 had priority, and it's very important to remember that when you're playing, right? That some situations you need to accept your losses, you need to cut your losses. Sometimes people run bad businesses, and they are too afraid to let go, and they just keep funneling money, and they just amount their losses to more. They take loans, and finally you lose your nexus, which is your house. So sometimes you just have to cut your losses, and in this case C9 were in good position already to do the Drake. Now they gave up 2 kills, and they're probably going to secure the Drake anyway, because they are maintaining the pressure that they had from before. Rise is doing a great job in mid. Jensen is definitely outperforming Westdoor, and Zaya and Janna are winning the bot lane. Holy contracts. Contracts. Ooh. 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 Ziv, where did he TP? I want to check this. We have to check this. He TPs into the Drake pit, cancels it. A bit too desperate here. A bit too desperate here from AHQ. There's very little they can do at this point now when top lane is in this state. You know, where if they are losing the priority in mid and bottom is also pushing, then they have very little options on how to play the game. The only way for them to do anything is just to try to commit to a lane swap, lose the first tower, and then just hope for the best. But at this kind of pace, then they're going to lose first tower regardless. They're just losing priority both mid and bottom, and C9 are executing properly. And the biggest reason here is that C9 have a better pushing bot lane. Like early on they will push with the BF sword, and Jensen is destroying Westor. Impact now has TP as well. He can just he has a lot of time to work with. He doesn't need to run bottom just yet because the wave is very far. Impact does the classic thing he likes to do. He just roams around and makes sure he's around the mid lane in case something happens. Can go down into bottom now and abuse the fact that he has TP, but it doesn't seem like anything's gonna happen before Ziv gets his TP back up. So Jensen permanently has priority here in top lane, and the crazy thing is I'm not too sure if you have spotted on the ping. Rise ultimate gets used. Ziv has a lot of MR here though, but they can just chase him down forever. He has a flash, maybe he'll take himself over some wall. Alright, he's running and Wing. Cassiopeia is coming in. The flash from SKT Jensen. Sending an insane banana over here. Maybe they can go for a Cassiopeia flash here as well. She cleanses. Nice movement. Jarvan's also coming in. Oh, the hook to cancel the Jarvan. The Jarvan didn't have flash, I think it's coming up right now. Alright. Crazy gameplay. C9, they are on a roll. C9 are playing very good. I think C9 are definitely looking like a team that can take second place in this group. So what was the risk with this? Not really anything. Like mid lane was pushed, Ezreal's covering, and top side also had priority. If anything, maybe Jarvan could have been doing Rift Herald right now, but they had enough vision to know about it, and after they pushed out top, Xayah and Janna started to move into mid. So during this time AHQ didn't really get priority anywhere, so this worked out just fine. We saw on the little screen here down below that C9 secured the Rift Herald after they picked up these kills, and the main problem here is that Jarvan is not creating any pressure, and the timing of C9's gank into bottom was very good, because Jarvan was spending time topside. They were investing 3 people into topside and still didn't get priority, and that was because of good vision. Jarvan was spotted the entire time. C9 didn't have to be scared of anything, but they didn't get priority anywhere while Jensen was ganking bottom. So after this we get the replay. Rift Herald is coming down, mid tower is down. A lot of gold in favor of Cloud9. They're playing a very fast-paced game. This is something they should be happy about. Very well played. Let's take a step back and take a look at what's going on here. I feel right now as if C9 is playing into the wrong side of the map. They are 3v3 here though, but Contracts is going very low. So Rise is still killing the wave. Cassiopeia is already moving, so even though Rise killed the wave, I feel like they rushed this play a bit too much. But at the same time, Contracts could be in a better position. He could have E'd over the wall here, and then all of a sudden the Maokai W maybe would have been something worse. I feel like he should have played with this wall instead right here. If he E'd into this area instead of what he did, like he should have been a bit more safer and it would have been fine. The other play is that Rise was pushing the wave, right? Rise was pushing the wave, and as long as that was the case, like he was pushing the wave for free, Cassiopeia was already moving. She was already moving through this space right here. Like she was already moving, and the only thing that needed to happen, like right here, you can see Jensen is pushing the mid wave. Cassiopeia is already moving, like she's already moving. They could have just played it safe, wait for this wave in mid lane to crash, right? If this wave crashes, someone needs to pick it up, and then this would be 100% safe, no problem. Then they could pick this up and then play into top side for the next wave up top, or maybe even just do dragon here. That is, of course, an Infernal Drake, so it makes sense for them to just stay and do it. But I think this play, whoa, this was a bit of a throw here. AHQ should be able to secure the Infernal Drake off of this. So, miscommunication. Rise, there was two ways to play it. Either Ezreal could have just mechanically played his play better, and on top of that, they could have also played with the fact that Rise was pushing the wave for free. Cassiopeia would have to catch, and then C9 as a team could have just gone together to the red buff. But they didn't. AHQ looked for the punish. This is what they need to look for. They just need to look for like skirmishes where they get good Cassiopeia ultimates, and that is how they kind of win the game. At this point in time, they aren't that strong in the lane phases. They just need to find a situation where they can create picks, create kills, and be more in teamfight oriented situations. A Rift Herald use top. Okay. AHQ, still the same thing. They need to just create picks. Arden sends on both supports, yay. Oh, wow. Whoa, 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 this is going really, really fast. And that's a Nashor, I assume. Holy moly, that is a big Kog'Maw. Crazy, crazy stuff. Let's take a step back and let's notice the mistake that Albus and Ann are doing. They overstay here. Mid priority is gone. They are spotted on a ward right here. They are seen on a ward right now. Massive priority in mid lane. There's no mid tower, right? So they can push all the way and cut them off. Big mistake here. They should have been grouped up with their team. They should have ran away from here already. The top tower was done. Killing the Rift Herald is not worth it. 2 flashes also expanded. Or expanded. Expensed, is that the word I'm looking for? Holy. C9 didn't take the Nashor off this. I'm feeling the fatigue attacking me. No Baron for C9, so the game is still alive for HQ. Like C9 just need to keep playing the same game. Well, they take priority everywhere. They should be able to. Impact doesn't need priority, right? He's just going to tank it up against Maokai, and they just have their island down bottom. And eventually they will be fine. The main thing here is Ziv used TP, right? So Impact will just chill it out at bottom and push it all the way, while Ziv has to do a bit more grouping. Really cool thing about Adaptive Helmet and why it's so good in this game is that it works against Kog'Maw W, and it works against Cassiopeia E, and it's a very powerful item in this game. A lot of MR is a good thing here for Impact. Especially when Kog'Maw is going straight Ginsu, right? There's a lot of magic damage going on there, and applies on hit effects multiple times, and I think like the damage distribution is about 60-40 now, maybe 70-30 even. So MR is a very effective stat here for Impact. Impact is pushing all the way, of course. He doesn't have to worry about anything. He has the TP in his favor. Civ had to run around for a long time, and Impact can just roam here. But it seems like they're going for the kill here. They're going for the kill. Same time C9 is going to start Baron. They have the Rise and the Ezreal that can buff off everyone. This is going to go very, very fast. They have a strong Baron team. And Rise does a lot of damage to it, and so does Ezreal. When Ezreal is fully stacked and he can also give full attack speed to all his teammates with his W, like he's very, very good at killing Nashor. AHQ are in the same state of the game. They can't get priority anywhere, and scaling wise, you know, sure, maybe Kog'Maw can get a couple of items, but it is looking very, very grim, right? It's not like Xayah scales poorly either, and they have the engage on their side, and Ryze will be able to do a lot of damage onto these low range picks. So as long as the game is maintained like this, it doesn't seem like AHQ will be able to come back. They will have to create a lot of picks and then maybe reach the point where both teams have full items, and then maybe then they have a chance. Like Maokai outscales Nautilus in the later stage of the game, and you know, it's just hard to imagine that that's going to happen in the current state of the game. Ryze is split pushing. Ryze, like Jensen against Westor, he completely smashed him. He completely demolished him in every part of the game, and I'm kind of hoping that AHQ bust out Chowie or something, because, you know, right now this is not working out for them. Might have to wait for another Baron for C9 to finish this game completely. Might be another fight away. Like if they manage to break the base without the Baron, I think it's through a fight. Whoa, look at the damage of Ryze. Will he flash? Oh, that's an hourglass play. Oof, that's very, very close. Ice cold. Hourglass into ult away. Good stuff, good stuff. But I think he overcommitted there. Whoa, 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 what just happened, man? What just happened? Speaking of overcommitting, Lulu just gets hooked point blank and just gets one-shotted without doing anything. Ryze comes back with some health. He's not too healthy, but it doesn't matter because Xayah is just slaughtering everything. This looks like it's an inhib for C9. AHQ, I think they just have to give it. They just have to give up the inhib. Holy, Janna heals so much with these items, it's crazy. Excuse me for my yawning. This is, you know, this is taking a toll on me. This last 2 days, it's definitely more exhausting than I thought it would be. But I'm not unhappy. I'm still feeling good, and I'm happy that I chose to do this. You know, so don't worry about me. I'm just yawning because my body tells me to, not because I want to. Ryze ultimate. Oh, impact. Now this is what I wanted to see more from Fnatic. Maybe throw in a choke in there. Maybe throw the Ryze with the TP in. And maybe it would look better. Oh, the root. Oh, that's the game over. Alright. Biggest issue for AHQ. Westdoor was under his turret for the entire game. Contracts got a very, very nice start with the invade. I'm not too sure about what the counterplay is. The counterplay is to reverse invade, but it was a very late invade, and it was very well executed by C9. I loved what I saw there, and Jensen definitely carried this game. Like, he played very well around mid lane, and he always had priority. And when the enemy team have Xayah and Janna, which seems to me like the most OP bot lane. World Elite is playing this the most, and maybe Xayah Janna is just the flavor of the tournament that is the strongest bot lane right now. And the trade-off was Jarvan, and Xayah Janna can deal with Jarvan very easily, very well with disengage. And I have this feeling that Xayah and Janna should be higher priority than some teams are giving it. World Elite were the ones that played it the most. We saw very little Janna today, and maybe that is like the transition here. We saw a lot of Xayah bans It's important to keep that in mind. A lot of teams banned Xayah as well, and that kept it out. But the main reason I'm talking about Xayah and Janna so much is because it gives you priority in bot lane. It doesn't seem like anything can match the push. It reminds me a lot like Sivir Janna. You just keep pushing. You might be weaker in a fight. You might be weaker scaling wise, but not even so. Like Xayah scales really well as well. I think it's in general just a very strong bot lane, and you have to kind of have maybe like a Thresh and something to cut through that, and maybe like a Lulu and a Varus to cut through that. And even then, I don't think it's like convincingly in favor of Varus, because Xayah can just ult his ult, right? And that happened. And when you have a bot lane like this, it's important that you get priority through mid. But C9 played very well with having priority through mid the entire game. I give the most credit to Jensen. Impact had some decent TPs. Ziv wasn't really relevant in this game. I felt like Impact did more things than Ziv in this game, and Cloud9 did impress in a lot of ways. AHQ, on the other hand, I feel like they need to do something about mid lane. They need to maybe put more resources into it, maybe make sure that Westo is more comfortable with his draft or something, but he was definitely outshined here by DJ Jensen. Alright.